Episode 3 of The Acolyte is out, and it's a trip, so take a quick trip with me and we'll dive into what was good about it and what was... well, we'll see how it turns out. The whole idea of the Dathomir witches and magic being an aspect of the Force is sure gaining a lot of ground, right? String theory, if you will, the threads that are referred to. I don't know if I loved the way all the witches were exactly chanting and moaning and writhing around to try to, I don't know, access their magical power. It was just kind of on the border of like, oh, that's interesting and a little bit cheesy. I'm not sure. The child actors, I will make no comments on because I don't like to comment on child actors. But they were given a big task. They had to carry a lot, which is a little bit unfair. And it was a very long backstory. Like it was a whole episode, and it makes me want there to be more episodes now. But you know that means that the Jedi are going to be painted as bad guys. There is definitely more to that story. I mean, was it just kind of a misunderstanding, or are the Jedi going to turn out to be murderers? I actually think that Soul is going to end up, you know, being shown as maybe not as great of a guy, and he's been tortured by the guilt of that. He's trying to make amends. He's trying to fix it. That's why he's so obsessed with helping Osha now as an young adult. What I didn't like was how May was kind of portrayed as a psycho right from the get-go. I don't think people are born psychos. Sorry, I don't. I think there's just things that happen along the way, trauma, whatever, that gets them to that place. And I don't know. We don't know everything. Maybe, you know, one of her parental figures was, I don't know, really rough on her and, you know, being raised by a bunch of witches. I don't know. Something made her the way she is, because it would just be weird to have twins and have them be so opposite. I get that's like an interesting theme, but it was not real justified. And like the way that everyone like died very suddenly was a little suspect. It certainly couldn't have been from the fire. I also wonder if like, did she actually start that fire truly, or was it an accident? Like what happened? There's more to that. So I feel like we need another episode to kind of just fill in the cracks, but please don't make it an entire episode of like just rehashing like the past for 30 minutes and then wasting an episode. But this is sort of like in The Last Jedi, right? Where Luke's like, hey, I noticed that, you know, Ben Solo was going to turn into this evil dude, and so I was going to kill him, but then I decided not to. But Ben saw me, and then he freaked out, and therefore basically became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe it could be something like that. Some people will be okay with that. Some people are going to hate that. The show looks pretty nice, though. There was only, I like the effects, except for one effect. There's this one effect where this kind of butterfly bird creature thing that's, you know, pretty transparent lands on Osha's finger as a child. And to me, it looked kind of fake. But I know they were trying to make it look a little transparent. So that's probably just a me thing. I don't know. What did you think about that? The other actors actually did a good job. I think they're portraying their parts well. I have no complaints, you know, and I don't actually think the writing is too bad. There may be a couple little tweaks I'd make to dialogue, but honestly, the writing's pretty good. The story is going fine. I just want to see a little bit more explained, but I think it's coming. I suspect there is more that's coming. But thematically, I'm not sure where we're going with this now, but I do think the Jedi will be painted in a bad light for sure. And as long as they don't paint like the entire order is, you know, they're all like evil or something, right? That she's more that May is like generalizing her experience with just a few Jedi and assuming that that's how everybody is, right? That's kind of like how terrorists get made, you know? And so it doesn't mean that all the Jedi are like evil. So I'm okay with the fact that like individuals within the Jedi Order would not all be like perfect. Some people get really offended by that. They're like, oh, but yeah, you're going to show the Jedi are evil murderers or whatever. Well, I don't think that means all Jedi are murderers. But maybe those particular ones made some really bad choices and crossed the line. And if they did, is that justification for ratcheting it up and going for revenge murder and all kinds of terrible things? Of course not, right? So May is definitely still in the wrong. And in a way, we've gotten aspects of this same idea, right? By seeing maybe more relatable folks that have been on the other side of the conflict, right? I mean, we've got, you know, like Finn and the sequels, of course, was had been a stormtrooper, whatever. Well, but he became more relatable and maybe a little underutilized in some ways, in my opinion. But he, you know, certainly changed who he was, and you know, maybe he did do some things in the name of the Empire that he's not proud of, but he saw that those were wrong and he didn't want to be that person. So I think it's okay that like there doesn't have to be like a monolith way of being to any given group. You know what's interesting? I always love Star Wars music. Of course, the stuff by John Williams, of course, classic. But also some of the stuff that's been done by other musicians. But this music, I don't honestly thinking about it, I don't know if it was good or bad. Like, it's maybe forgettable, though it's just terrible. I do seem to recall that, like in the credits, it was a little more of a like a Far Eastern sound of some kind. But it's not sticking in my head, which I wish it did because I love Star Wars music. The Wookiee Jedi, sorry, I can't remember his name just at the moment. He's got kind of a funky hairdo. It's kind of interesting. It looks like it's almost like shaved on the top, maybe like a monk. And then there's like some blue lines painted on it. I don't know. Kind of weird, but yeah, I like him trying new things. And we see that the Jedi who later poisons himself at May's behest was always kind of a solemn, serious kid, too. Just following orders, maybe, but didn't feel great about it. And did you notice the painted fingers? A very good link teaser back to Ahsoka. We see what happens. Maybe that is somebody who's also given themselves over. I don't know. But they didn't seem like they were super powerful. Otherwise, they would be able to put up a better fight. So please subscribe for more. Comment, let me know what you think, and give us a like. Thanks.